Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here. In this video, we're going to be talking about Aglaea. Is she still worth it in Honkai Star Rail for her rerun banner as well? Now, I'm going to come in from multiple perspectives, but mainly I want to target people who are free-to-play players or very, very small spenders. If you're a massive whale, this video is probably not going to be very useful for you. Now, first things first, I think the most important thing for a player to think about is your roster availability. Which are the characters that you have available, and out of all of the characters in Honkai Star Rail, the ones that work a little bit better with Aglaea are going to be characters like Sunday, Robin, and Huohuo. These, in my opinion, is one of her best teams as well. There are alternatives. For example, you can swap out Sunday for Remembrance MC, and Huohuo for Lingsha and stuff like that. Robin could even see some use in other characters. For example, maybe playing Esther, you can always swap in someone with a slightly more faster boosting speed, a 4-star equivalent, will also be all good as well. But by and large, the best teammates for or Aglaea in general is going to be Robin, Sunday, and Huohuo. And you can see that in like the top performing 5 teams, a lot of them have Robin in them, which increases the dependency on such characters. So the decision-making process often lies with whether you have the best in slot characters and whether you have alternatives available as well. So if you already have Esther build, you have Remembrance MC well built, you have some of these options, Aglaea's usefulness for your account is going to increase significantly as well. But by and large, Robin and Aglaea are likely going to be best in slot partners. It's favoured to pull Aglaea, especially if you have Robin as well, but she still works very well regardless. So that is for the team compositions in terms of your overall account lineup. She is mainly a single target damage dealer, so you are attacking a lot of monsters very quickly. If you are looking for characters with a bit more AoE to clear certain AoE content, Aglaea might not be the best AoE character, but in terms of single target DPS, she works fantastically well. Super strong too. That aside, moving on outside of team compositions, the next thing that I want to talk about now is, of course, gearing. Now, Aglaea is one of the characters which is a little bit trickier to gear, especially since Remembrance is still a relatively new path with respect to the other paths in the game. What does that mean? You do not have as many light cone options available compared to the other ones. If you go into the data bank and see, your Destruction, your Hunt, your Erudition has so many light cones, whereas your Remembrance light cone barely fills in 2 lines. Of course, this over time will naturally solve itself, but the only free-to-play one that causes no, if you don't pull at all and you don't have any gacha luck at all, is going to be Victory in a blink. This is not the best by far light cone for Aglaea, and this definitely will affect your decision-making process. If you actually do pull on light cones or you purchase a battle pass like for really small spenders, then Aglaea's value goes up slightly. If you are planning to get time movement and goal, then also the value goes up slightly more. In terms of ranking for her light cones, time movement and goal is her best in slot, I believe by 20% in terms of the next best alternative. Next best is going to be the Battle Pass light cone, especially if you have this at Super Imposition 5, because you get a lot of crit rate, you get a lot of damage as well, and this is a pretty general one. So for those of you Battle Pass havers, Sweat Now, Cry Less, very versatile light cone, very good for a damage dealing Remembrance character. And in third place, you will have Genius Greetings. This is of course on the current banner as well for her rerun. So those of you who are maybe pulling for Cypher's light cone or Aglaea's light cone, you might have a chance to get a couple of copies of this Genius Greeting, which is also a limited light cone. At the same time, you probably will be able to like slap it on Aglaea if you have her, then increases her value significantly. So if you do not plan to pull for light cones, you do not have signature light cones, again, I think that her value for your account, is she still worth it? Probably not as high as a lot of other characters. And of course, that being said, I just want to make a quick note. Now that we talked about a bit of light cones, we talked about our team compositions for you. One huge thing that at this point of time we need to consider for DPS characters is generally they go in cycles, right? When a character first comes out, they are super OP, very strong, and as the reruns go by, they might get a little bit less efficient, and then till the day that they get a buff, they get revamped, and then they come back into use. So doesn't mean DPS characters that come out for a while, they are definitely not pullable. It depends on what your account needs, and Aglaea still remains as one of the top DPSs in the game for her first rerun as well, in terms of damaging output in a single target faction. So if you're looking for a single target damage dealer, still a solid choice. And DPS characters, even though tend to have a little bit more downside in terms of more characters coming in game competition, but we have seen Hoyoverse actually bother revamping characters, introducing new characters kit to make them relevant again. So that is a huge plus, as well as we will see upcoming changes to the old characters too. So that's my thoughts on like power creep in terms of how the projection is. Overall, I think she's still a solid character, but really quite niche depending on what your circumstance requires. In my opinion, the other character on the banner definitely looks very, very attractive. For those of you who are thinking of pulling, this one might be a bit more attractive to me, but that's my personal thoughts. If you're interested on more Cypher content or what I think about her, check out this video right here. Otherwise, thank you so much for your attention and your time. If you appreciate such honest reviews, see you in one of these two next videos. Bye bye now.